A very warm welcome to each one of you to this special edition of the Sentinel's Facebook Live. I am Oineetom Ojah. In this special series, we will be speaking to some of the key newsmakers from the Northeast. And to begin this series, I have with me today two-time Member of Parliament from Assam's Kolyabor, the young and dynamic Mr. Gaurav Gogoi. Welcome, Mr. Gogoi, to the
Thank you.
Sentinel's Facebook Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is the first edition, the first Facebook Live of the Sentinel, like I've already mentioned. Let me start by asking you about the current health emergency and the handling of the situation.
Well, what we are in is unprecedented. We are in close to 40 days of lockdown in India. And in India, and across the world, we don't have a vaccine yet. The only way to successfully beat coronavirus is with a vaccine. Until a time a vaccine is developed, we will be always living with COVID-19. So the health impact is immense. You have seen that certain states like Maharashtra and Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh have been badly hit. But
I'm
I'm
really
grateful.
sorry to interrupt you. I think we are having a technical. Really sorry about that. A bit of a technical glitch there. I'm sure you are very used to all of these things. You keep doing a lot of TV and a lot of Facebook Lives as well. Sorry, apologies one more time. Yes, so what I was asking you is about the current health emergency, the crisis that each one of us are going through at this point of time, and the handling of the situation by the government.
Well, what I had said earlier was that we can only successfully beat COVID-19 till we actually have a vaccine. No vaccine has been developed and ready for human trial. So till that time,
Yes.
we all have to live with COVID-19. Now, in certain states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, we have seen the number of people infected, the number of people who have died due to COVID-19 has skyrocketed over the last 3 weeks. I'm grateful that so far the health impact of COVID-19 on the Northeast, including my home state of Assam, is very limited. So, on the health side, we have so far escaped uh, the situation that exists in Maharashtra and Gujarat, but we still have to be cautious till the time a vaccine is developed. We are not out of the woods yet, and we still have to keep protocols of social distancing in mind. So, till that time, I think it is prudent for the government to keep amplifying on testing, to keep teaching people or
Right.
creating awareness about social distancing. And we will soon, I think, ease the restrictions of the lockdown. But even if factories open and offices open and and fields, agricultural fields open, I think the rules of social distancing must be developed within factories, within agricultural fields, within offices, and those new rules should be kept in mind in the days to come.
Absolutely. Now, since you've already mentioned about the easing of the restrictions, starting tomorrow, many of the restrictions will be lifted, of course, with certain riders. Let us talk a little bit about the economy, the farm distress. What is the Congress's view on these things? I believe yesterday your media in charge, Mr. Randeep Surjewala, did come out with a 7-point solution. So, does it mean that the Congress already has a revival plan in place, a strategy in place?
Well, since the beginning, the Congress has been giving very positive and constructive support. We were the first party to ask for a nationwide lockdown, even before the government of India enforced its lockdown. After the lockdown, we were the first party to ask for a financial package for people who are living below the poverty line, and we saw the government respond with the first financial action plan, which had 500 rupees in the Bandhan account and 2,000 rupees. And we've also, asked for the return of migrant labor, and we've seen that in a few years earlier, the migrant labor has been. What we see now and what we're advising the government is that you need to look after the small and medium businesses and enterprises and small factories, because understand that even before COVID-19 hit India, the small and
Right.
medium and micro entrepreneurs were not doing well in the Indian economy, be it because
Yes.
of demonetization or GST. They were already in a very difficult place. And now, with the markets shut down, with
Hmm.
demand going down, with production units disrupted, I think they will be in further distress. So we've
Right.
constantly advising our former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, and through our senior leaders, we've been advising the government that please about those micro, small entrepreneurs, give them financial support so that they can pay their employees. I think it's very difficult for small factory owners to pay the employees, and if they don't pay the employees will not have money to buy food and vegetables, and
Right.
you would see issues related to malnutrition and hunger, and which we don't want to happen.
Right. So, from your side, do you have a 5-point agenda or a 10-point agenda exactly how to, jumpstart the economy that is deep in the red at this point of time? Like you mentioned, and you have been tweeting a lot, you have been raising the concerns of the migrant workers. So, how do you suggest the government handles the current situation?
Well, there two things. I think already this year is a unique year. So whatever money which was allocated in this year's budget by the Union Government of India, that money can be reallocated for support to poor people, small and micro enterprises. So we've advised that
Hmm.
have a fund of 1 lakh crore to be given to micro and small medium entrepreneurs so that they can pay the wages of their employees. We said give them another 1 lakh crore so that they can continue their firms, continue the production of their firms. And we've also understand that government of India might need to borrow more money from whether that's the IMF or the World Bank. So all the burden of raising these financial resources does not come on the union government itself. That's another thing
Right.
that we've advised. And again, remember, this is also the season for sowing the next season of agricultural crops. A lot of
Yes.
products are coming to the market. The farmers, also need to be paid remuneratively, given the adequate MSP, so that the rural economy is thriving.
Hmm.
So these are some of the
Hmm.
basic pointers we have mentioned. 1 lakh crore for MSMEs, 1 lakh crore for laborers, more money from the international market and international institutions, and support the farmers.
Okay. Shifting our focus a little bit to your home state, to Assam, you seem to be really happy about the way the things have been handled overall, right? And of course, with a population of 3 crore plus and just about 43 confirmed cases, a commendable job being done by the state government.
Well, as you see that if you compare the number of cases infected across the world, and you see the number of cases in the US, if you see the number of cases in Germany, South Korea, relatively India is much less affected by COVID-19. Whether it's in the number of cases or in the number of deaths, I think the number of deaths
Right.
in the US was 60,000, and here
Mhm.
we have much around 1,000. So overall,
Yes.
India as a nation has so far escaped the severity of COVID-19, and Assam example of that. What we've seen in India is that certain states are much more affected, and certain other parts of the states, other parts of India are less affected. So Assam, Manipur, Sikkim, Goa,
Mhm.
these are states, Odisha, these are states which are less affected. Only time later research would say that what is it about this virus that affects that affected the states of India differently. But yes, so far we are always advising the state government in Assam that where we need more help, whether it's for the tea garden laborers, whether it's the people of Assam who are stuck in other states. And I think right now is not the time to play politics. Right now is the time to put our minds together, give positive suggestions, to give concrete ideas, continuously tell the people, Sam, what is the government thinking, what is the government planning? Because in the end, it is the people's collective responsibility that we abide by the rules of social distancing, that we keep health in check, and that we abide by the rules of the lockdown, or the lockdown is subsequently really relaxed. I think it's for the people to also abide by those rules, advisories. So I think we must continuously speak to the people and create awareness.
Right. Let us also talk a little bit about the health infrastructure. Do you in any way feel that the current crisis has once again brought to the fore the kind of deficit that we have as far as healthcare facilities, the healthcare infrastructure that whole of the country, including the Northeast, has? Do you feel that it is really high time that we really fix all the loopholes there as far as the healthcare infrastructure and facilities are concerned, and also the spendings with reference to the GDP needs to go up significantly?
Well, I agree. I think one of the takeaways from COVID 19 is that India needs to invest much more in healthcare, whether it's at the central level, state level, or at the district level. Right now, it does not have the capacity to produce a vaccine which can defeat COVID 19, waiting for vaccines from others. We don't have capacity to manufacture sufficient number of personal protection equipments. We're importing
Mhm.
those. We don't have the design or the technology to make testing kits. We are doing that in partnership with global international firms. So this crisis has exposed the vulnerabilities in the Indian healthcare system, and I'm
Right.
confident in the days to come. This would be an area which would be which would see more investment, because I really see that India can be the model of affordable healthcare for the entire world. We already have
Mhm.
a health infrastructure where people from other countries come to Delhi, or people from other northeast states come to Guwahati, to get
Yes.
better treatment and better resources. But there's a long road ahead, a long way to go.
Right. So going back to the issue of migrant workers, Assam is expecting anywhere upwards of 4.5 lakh of migrant workers coming back to the state. So what do you think? How should the government look at providing jobs to all of these people, addressing the whole issue of migrant workers? Because many of them have already said that even if there are jobs outside of their state, they would not like to go back. So looks like a huge task. in the hands of the Assam government as far as job creation is concerned, as far as getting the economy back on track is concerned. So, what are your views on these issues?
Well, I think there will be some fear and apprehension after the lockdown is relaxed for people to go back to their normal routine, go back to vegetable shops, to go back to village hearts, to go back to their offices,
Mhm.
factories, or go back to service industry where they were working. And this fear and this apprehension is genuine, it's understandable, but it has to be overcome. We cannot be a thriving economy if we are, if the sentiment of fear is there. So I think we will all have to work together, and I think it's for the good of the economy, especially in the service industry, where so many Assamese people, so many people from Northeast India work. That it's for them. If we can create an atmosphere that no matter where they go, whether it is in Assam or back to their, back to the state where they were originally working, that the rules of social distance are followed, that the health infrastructure has been ramped up, testing has ramped up. I think in the end,
Yes.
we will have to create that sense of confidence in us, and only if we have that sense of confidence will our economy, which is the context of your question, will move forward.
Right. So, regarding sectors like the tourism, because tourism has been one of the key economy boosters for not just Assam, whole of Northeast, now has taken a huge hit. Obviously, the hospitality sector, and needless to say, the farm space. So, any suggestions or solutions from your side?
Well, I mean, definitely there are many sectors which are very hit. Hospitality industries is devastated because not besides the big brands such as the Marriotts and the Taj and the Radisson, we also have the
Right.
small entrepreneurs. My home constituency of
Mhm.
Kaliabor has Kaziranga National Park, and a lot of people who are tourist lodges and the small cottages, bed and breakfast and Airbnbs. So all of them have hit because the flights have been restricted, trains have been restricted, inter-district movement has been stopped. This is where I think for various district administrations, they have to identify with local district chambers of commerce as to the economic loss that people have, that entrepreneurs, employers have felt, and we have to
Mhm.
find way, even though we're in lockdown, but all of us, even at our district level or at the state level, we have to plan that. Okay, how do we come back and get back on our feet? And I think
Right.
that's what is most critical right now. That there's not enough planning which is happening. There's not enough planning around how to get tourism back on track, how to get
Right.
education back on
Mhm.
track, how to get healthcare back on track, or some of the government schemes.
Mhm.
So there needs to be a lot more. What I would just suggest is for at the district level and at the state level for for think tanks, for universities, for academicians,
Yes.
for public intellectuals, local come together and kind of brainstorm what is the way that we can get back on our feet. I don't think the government itself or just bureaucrats themselves will have capacity to think this. It needs a public participation of civil society, academia, private sector, small entrepreneurs, farmers, everybody.
Right. But so far, is Gaurav Gogoi happy the way things are being handled in Assam, in Northeast, and across India?
Well, as I said, no, for me the benchmark for successfully overcoming COVID-19 is that we have a vaccine, and till the time we don't
Right.
have a vaccine, there's not a single death, uh, and there's not a single case of infection. So till the time
Mhm.
we are, I'm cautious about being too optimistic early on. Could be
Mhm.
in the early stage of pandemic. We've seen in other states like Delhi that there could be a second wave. So I rather focus on doing what is necessary in my capacity as an opposition member of parliament, and I rather have the government just focused on what they need to do next instead of instead of evaluating their work
Right.
too early on.
Okay. I'm sure you also must be getting a lot of calls from many of the students and, people stranded outside Assam.
Yes. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. So just wanted to know, what are some of those calls which have come to you, maybe from the students, because Delhi has a lot of students from the region, not just from Assam. I'm sure you must be getting calls from Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore. So what are some of the, any of these calls which really stood out?
Well, that's it. I mean, most recently there was the call from the three people who are from my constituency who are in Delhi at the Rajiv Gandhi Super Specialty Cancer Institute, where they got tested positive for COVID-19. I spoke to them
Right.
and told them, that if they need any help with the medical facility, I'm there. And I also, my office got in touch with the medical
Mhm.
superintendent at the Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute and told them that they must look after, our patients from Assam. And yes, as you're right, I met with Assamese people who are stuck in Uttar Pradesh, Bombay, Pune, Bangalore, who for some reason are not getting food rations or the food rations have run out. And I must point out that the support of the Congress network has been immense because in many states
Mhm.
we don't have a Congress government, but we do have very active Congress
Right.
volunteers. Whether it's in Uttar Pradesh or Karnataka, and the minute I've called them, we've managed to provide the necessary rations to those people. So within our party, we've opened a centralized control room, especially for migrant labor, where we've
Right.
taken calls from all states, about where the migrant labor are stuck. And they might be in a remote village, they might be in a remote town, but if they need help, our Congress Party volunteers are there to help them. And I've managed to help many people through our
Right.
AICC control room.
Right. And finally, would like to know how you have been spending your days during this lockdown.
Well, I think I'm very grateful for the resources that I have, which means that the pain and the hardship that you've seen on television and newspapers as to how people are
Yes.
queuing up for rations, or they're walking on the streets,
Hmm.
or like the people that I'm helping. So I'm definitely grateful, and I try to do my best to help as many people as I can every day. And I think all of us, yourself, the people in your office, we're all looking after our families, making sure that everybody's
Right.
all right, speaking to them, looking after the children, of course, participating much more in sort of work. So I'm like anybody else in your office. I'm doing all the same, cooking, cleaning, and trying to, do my work.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us. We will keep coming back to you for more such interactions. Thank you once again for joining the Sentinels Facebook Live.
Thank you.
Viewers, thank you all. Thank you so much. Stay safe and take care. Viewers, thank you so much for joining in. We will be back. Till then, keep watching this space. Keep tuning in to Sentinel's Facebook page and do follow us on our website as well. Thank you and goodbye.